As I mentioned in one of my old videos from the end of last spring, I actually have another floor fan set up behind my desk, which is blowing air directly in my computer, which was causing a lot of background noise in my videos. So I've turned the speed on the fan down. One of two things will happen: either you'll be able to hear me better, or my computer will catch fire. I'm not sure which will happen. I guess we'll find out. So this is a match I played about 2 weeks ago, as of time of recording, platooned with Sophie in Tiger 2 and Solid Demise in a Panther 2. This is of course during the E50 on-track event. Playing my Centurion, you know, as I do. So as usual, going to this spot here to try and get eyes on enemy tanks as they cross the B line. T-69 gets lit as he goes across, and the T-34 was spotted, I believe, by our Stewart. I can see trees getting knocked over, so evidently people are crossing there, but unfortunately their camo is just slightly better than my spotting range is, so I can't actually see them. So I decide to hold position for a little while, just to see if anything does actually cross that I can spot, or to see if any fire comes from that direction. The enemy Panther 2 is spotted crossing as well, so him and the T-69 are both on the right flank. I decide to head over there and help out. We do have a lot of people over here, so you would think they'd be able to handle it, but you can never be too sure. Also wanted to make sure Silent Demise had some actual proper support. So first of all, the T-69's out. I want to get him dead as fast as possible. I know that building he's taking cover behind is non-destructible, so I don't bother firing at it. Type 59 now rolls out. He also takes a shell and gets tracked in the open where he's focused down somewhat. I retrack him right as he's trying to back away, and I see the T-69's out, so I let the 59 get away, which you know, normally I wouldn't do, but to get shots on the T-69 I think it's worth it. That shot obviously found the ISU's gun mandate. That shot, I'm not sure what it hit. May have just sailed straight over the Type 59. Around here you can see my ping spiking to 800 milliseconds. It was only a brief spike, but unfortunately its timing was very bad. Sophie was getting rushed by a T-32 in center, and because I was lagging so hard I couldn't really do anything about it. See it spiking back up to 500, but because this guy's sitting still, I'm able to engage him anyway. T-34's behind the hill. I can't do anything about him, but I can definitely kill the T-32, or I can help the Type 59 kill it. Either way, it doesn't matter. That's one less gun in the match. So there's a cluster of enemy heavies and TDs up in A0, A9 sort of area. I don't want to really tangle with them head on, so I briefly look for shots here, and I know I'm far enough back they can't see me. Now, I spent a while here doing something stupid. The Centurion's gun is accurate, but it's not accurate enough to justify trying to Cupola snipe the Tiger 2 at 425 meters. I also forgot that in patch 8.8 the Tiger 2's Cupola was buffed to the point where the Centurion actually has a lot of difficulty penning it even at close range. So there's really no point to that. It was a waste of shells, and it kept me basically on a flank where I wasn't really doing anything for that much longer. Of course I did eventually realise the futility of the situation and decided to shift myself to middle. Big hit there on the T-34. I would guess, well in fact I'm sure that was our Rheinmetall, because he was the only thing that could possibly carry a gun that does enough damage to do that. So he's using a 15cm. Our STA and Type 59 are holding the west flank, backed up by the Indian and the Trimetal, so they're pretty well entrenched. The enemy aren't going to be able to push through there. Science of mine is able to move up the east a little, and then I decide to come out and pop this guy, just get him out of the picture in a hurry. I do take a shot from the Super Persian to do it, but I was still full health until that point, so it's definitely worth trading away one shot worth of HP to take a gun out of the game. So we have a slight advantage here. We controlled just over half of the map. We have a numbers advantage. We're up by 2 tanks, although one of ours is a light tank. And I think we have a hit points advantage. Certainly we had a lot of tanks with near full hit points at this stage. So the Panther II reveals himself and begins to be engaged by myself and these other mediums around me. I wanted to take that guy, but he got killed anyway, so I decided to switch back to the Super Persian, who is giving me side turret, which I can pen quite happily. I know that they're not likely to push me off this island, so I'm quite happy to sit here. I don't believe... No, I don't have 6th Sense on this crew at the time this is recorded, otherwise I would have gone off by now, of course. But I've since got it on this tank. I think it was a couple matches after this I managed to get 6th Sense. So you can see I'm just taking shots at these guys as they remove themselves from cover. We've got just under 8.5 minutes left in the match. We control the map. We've got plenty of hit points to play with. We've got a lot of big guns still on the field, so I'm quite happy to just slow down and take it easy. Object 416 is stock with the D10T. Panther II tries to retreat here, but unwittingly backs out even further into my field of fire, gets tracked, and gets finished. 416 also drives directly into my field of fire, but is taken by the Type 59, and now the Super Pershing once again is lit. With him down, it's just that cluster of tanks up in A0, so I move to the other side of the central area to get some shots on them. You see I fired through the wall to remove the obstruction on the IS-6. I wasn't really expecting to pen that shot, but I decided to move all the way up anyway, just so I have a slightly better angle. You can see he's busy engaging the mediums directly in front of him, and his entire back half is hanging out. So I'm able to just sit here and pump shot after shot into him quite happily until I bounce one and he pulls forwards into cover. Silent Demise takes care of the Tiny 2 and then starts putting the hurt on the IS-6. From this point on, I don't really have good shots at anything that's still up. I had a brief glimmer of an outline on that ISU, but it wasn't a good enough shot to have any real chance of hitting him. There I rather overcompensated. It was a nice sort of cruisy game, just under 3.9k damage, and after a string of me playing terribly and getting really bad matches as a result, I was quite happy to finally have a match where I felt like I was back to my normal abilities, especially since I was driving a Centurion. It's, you know, a tank that I feel I'm obligated to do well in, and do well I did. So that's now giving me a 6th Sense crew on my Cent 1, as well as my second best crew overall on my Cent 7 one. My 4202 has a 2 or 3 skill crew, I believe. I can't remember which. Now I just got to work on getting a better Comet crew as well, and Cromwell.